For years, The Benny Hill Show dominated television screens, delighting audiences with its rapid-fire slapstick, risque gags, and that unforgettable theme music. Benny Hill became a comedy legend, his mischievous grin and over-the-top antics earning him fans around the globe. But behind the non-stop laughter and iconic sketches, trouble was quietly brewing. One controversial sketch would soon spark a backlash so intense, it would mark the beginning of the end for the beloved series. What was meant to be comedy gold ignited a cultural firestorm, one that exposed deeper issues and ultimately led to the show's cancellation. Now, we uncover the infamous moment that changed everything and explore the hidden controversy that brought The Benny Hill Show crashing down. The Benny Hill Show entertained millions worldwide from its inception in 1955 until it was taken off the air in 1989. However, one particular scene is often cited as a key factor that contributed to the show's eventual cancellation. While The Benny Hill Show had always pushed the boundaries with its humor, a sketch aired in the late 1980s struck a particularly controversial note. The scene in question featured Hill in a parody of a beauty pageant, where scantily clad women were ogled and objectified. The sketch resulted in a particularly crass and tasteless joke that many viewers and critics found offensive. During this time, public sensibilities and attitudes towards comedy were changing. What was once considered cheeky and harmless fun began to be viewed as outdated and offensive. The infamous sketch catalyzed these critiques, bringing the issue to the forefront of public debate. But how did a comedy program adored by millions meet such a dramatic end? What happened? Before we delve into the controversial scene that changed everything, let's explore the life of the man behind the show. Early life: Alfred Hawthorne Hill, better known by his stage name Benny Hill, was born on January 21, 1924, in Southampton, Hampshire, England. However, there is some ambiguity regarding his birth year, as some sources cite 1925 instead. His family background is quite interesting, especially considering the artistic tendencies of his ancestors. His father, Alfred Hill, ran a surgical appliance shop. This occupation was quite different from the roots of entertainment that his family had, since his grandfather Henry Hill was a circus clown. The tradition of performing and entertaining had an influence on the career choice that would later be made by Benny Hill. His mother Helen also played an important part in his early years. Benny Hill attended Taunton School in Southampton. His studies there did not lead him directly into the field of entertainment. Instead, Hill's early working life was characterized by a succession of jobs that were unrelated to the entertainment world. He was employed at Woolworths, where he first gained work experience. Later, he assumed other jobs that reflected his adaptability and ability to engage in various forms of work. He worked as a milkman, a bridge operator, a driver, and even a drummer. Hill's varied experiences from his early jobs provided much of the breadth to the variety of characters and situations that he took on in his comedy. His entry into the entertainment world happened when he became an assistant stage manager with a touring revue. This launched him into what would be his lifetime of work in the entertainment field. The role of assistant stage manager allowed him to understand what goes on behind the scenes in a theatrical presentation, such as management of a stage, timing, and coordination skills that would serve him well when he went into television. During the Second World War, in 1942, Alfred Hawthorne Hill, or as he came to be more commonly known, Benny Hill, received a call-up into military service. He trained as a mechanic in the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, which was an arm of the British Army that dealt with the servicing, maintenance, and recovery of electrical and mechanical equipment. The technical training that Hill received contributed much to his practical skills during the war and helped his resourcefulness and problem-solving in his later life. Hill's time in the Army involved multiple roles. While being first and foremost trained as a mechanic, he was also a truck driver and searchlight operator. His posting to Normandy in September of 1944 placed him in the midst of one of the most critical phases of the war. The Normandy campaign was a pivotal point in the Allied liberation of Western Europe from the tenacious grasp of the Nazis. As a mechanic and truck driver, Hill's duties would have included the maintenance and operation of vehicles crucial to the transportation of troops and supplies, while as a searchlight operator, he would have assisted in defenses against enemy air attacks, backlighting targets for anti-aircraft gunners. Prior to the end of hostilities, Hill took a transfer to the Combined Services Entertainment Division. The CSE was responsible for providing entertainment to British and Allied forces, boosting morale through performances by comedians, actors, musicians, and other entertainers. This experience was invaluable in molding Hill's future career in show business. In the CSE, Hill sharpened his performance skills, learning how to entertain and hold an audience's attention under most any condition. This environment allowed him to experiment with comedy, timing, and deliver crucial elements, which would later define his success in television. Benny Hill was deeply influenced by the star comedians of British music hall shows, a popular form of entertainment in Britain during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Music hall performances usually consisted of a variety of acts that included comedy, song, dance, and even magic. The over-the-top personas and comedic styles of music hall comedians left an indelible mark on Hill. Convinced to establish himself within the entertainment industry, Hill borrowed the stage name of Benny in admiration for his favorite comedian, Jack Benny, an American actor of radio, television, and film who was best known for his impeccable comic timing and deadpan delivery. Equipped with the influence of music hall comedians, as well as the practical experience received during his time in the CSE, Hill was prepared to make his mark on show business. Early career. The first major break for Benny Hill came through radio, a dominant medium of entertainment at the time. He made his bow on the popular radio program Variety Bandbox on October 5, 1947. The show was a respected platform for comedy and musical acts, and Hill's inclusion marked a turning point in his budding career. His sharp wit and adaptable comedic timing quickly won over listeners, setting the stage for his rise in the entertainment world. Hill's success in radio soon opened the door to television, which was rapidly gaining popularity and cultural influence. In 1950, he made his first appearance on TV. The addition of a visual element gave Hill new creative freedom, allowing him to introduce physical comedy and visual gags that would become a hallmark of his style. These early television roles laid the groundwork for a prolific and enduring career in the medium. In 1962, Hill starred in a sitcom anthology titled Benny Hill, which ran through 1963. In this series, he played a different character in each episode, demonstrating a stunning range and comedic flexibility. The show's unique format allowed Hill to experiment with varied personas and sketch scenarios, reinforcing his reputation as a dynamic and imaginative performer. By 1964, Hill expanded his range even further with a surprising turn in classical theater. That year, he portrayed Nick Bottom in a televised production of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. The all-star production boasted several esteemed actors, providing Hill an opportunity to prove his dramatic mettle while still embracing the realm of comedy. As Bottom, a character particularly disposed to humor, Hill was able to merge his comedic instincts with traditional stagecraft, revealing new layers of depth in his facility as a performer. Between 1964 and 1966, Hill again appeared on radio with a program called Benny Hill Time on BBC Radio Light program. This show ran 3 series and was notable for its topical and satirical humor. Hill had an eye for the current events and trends, which he deftly wove into the fabric of his skits. A standout episode from March 1964 parodied James Bond in From Moscow with Love, emphasizing Hill's flair for spoofing pop culture. His comedic takes on the Beatles and other prominent figures of the time only added to his appeal. In Benny Hill Time, Hill brought a cast of recurring characters to life, including fan favorites Harry Hill and Fred Scuttle. These characters became signature parts of his comedic world. Harry Hill embodied the clumsy everyman, while Fred Scuttle was known for his exaggerated mannerisms and peculiar speech. Through these personas, Hill explored a broad spectrum of comedic themes and archetypes, further solidifying his legacy as a versatile entertainer. These characters not only highlighted Hill's range as a performer, but also endeared him to a broad audience by providing recurring figures that listeners could anticipate and enjoy.
Benny Hill faced numerous challenges in his early career. Despite his talent and ambition, Hill struggled to gain a strong foothold on stage, where his performances received mixed reviews. Despite his talent and ambition, Hill struggled to gain a strong foothold on stage, where his performances received mixed reviews. The Benny Hill Show. Benny Hill's journey through the world of entertainment began with the radio, a dominant medium of its time that captivated audiences across Britain. However, his early success on the airwaves was far from smooth. Hill's radio career was marked by a series of highs and lows. Some of his shows struck a chord with listeners, while others failed to leave a lasting impression. Despite the inconsistency, this formative period proved essential in helping Hill refine his comedic instincts. It was during these years of trial and error that he developed a resilient spirit and honed a comedic style that blended sharp wit with a flair for the absurd. But it wasn't until he transitioned to television that Benny Hill truly found his footing and fame. On January 15, 1955, The Benny Hill Show premiered on the BBC, marking the beginning of a legendary television career that would span decades. From the outset, the show distinguished itself with a unique format inspired by the vibrant tradition of British music hall entertainment. It combined live stage sketches with pre-recorded segments, a blend that gave Hill ample room to flex his creative muscles. His brand of humor, which leaned heavily on slapstick, double entendres, parody, and visual gags, quickly endeared him to a wide range of viewers. Hill's comedic world came to life thanks in large part to his recurring collaborators. During the BBC years, a rotating cast of talented performers helped bring his sketches to life. Patricia Hayes, Jeremy Hawke, Peter Vernon, Ronnie Brody, and co-writer Dave Freeman were pivotal figures during this time. Freeman, in particular, played a major role in shaping Hill's material throughout the 1950s and into the early 1960s. One of the most beloved figures from this period was Jackie Wright, a diminutive, bald-headed actor who became a fan favorite thanks to his frequent appearances as the target of Hill's infamous head-slapping routines. Wright's stoic reactions and impeccable timing made him the perfect straight man in Hill's exaggerated comedy. Although Hill remained primarily with the BBC until 1968, he briefly experimented with other networks, including ITV and ATV, between 1957 and 1960, and again in 1967. These short departures allowed him to explore different creative approaches and reach new audiences, further refining his comedic identity. A significant turning point in Hill's career came in 1969 when The Benny Hill Show moved from the BBC to Thames Television. This shift heralded a new era for the program and significantly boosted its popularity. Rather than airing weekly, the show adopted a format of one-hour specials, providing Hill with more flexibility and time to develop complex sketches and musical numbers. These longer specials allowed for more elaborate production values and gave Hill the opportunity to further expand his comedic range. Under Thames Television, the show gained international acclaim, eventually being broadcast in over 140 countries. Hill's combination of physical humor and universal comedic themes translated across language barriers, turning him into a global comedic icon. His keen abilities as a writer, performer, and impressionist were key to the show's continued success. Hill's sketches often featured him playing a variety of characters from hapless everymen to pompous authority figures, each brought to life with his signature blend of satire and slapstick. Although Hill was the main creative force behind the series, he occasionally sourced material from other writers. In keeping with the norms of the time, these contributions were rarely acknowledged with on-screen credit. One notable example concerns Cherry Gilliam, an actress and regular cast member, who reportedly sold Hill a sketch idea in 1976. Her "Fat Lady" concept was later featured in the January 1977 broadcast, and Hill even wrote to her from Spain to inform her that her idea would be used. A hallmark of The Benny Hill Show was its run-off, chase sequence, an iconic gag that usually wrapped up each episode with a burst of frenetic, visual comedy. This sequence often featured Hill and a group of cast members engaged in a madcap chase across various settings. The scenes were filmed using a technique called undercranking, which involved shooting at a slower frame rate and playing the footage back at normal speed to create a sped-up, exaggerated motion. This technique amplified the absurdity of the scenes and highlighted Hill's talent for visual humor. Recurring characters in these chases often included a mix of police officers, grannies, vicars, and scantily clad women, adding to the comedic chaos. The repetition and escalating absurdity of the chase made it a fan favorite and defining feature of the show's style. The entire sequence was set to the raucous tune of Yakety Sax by Boots Randolph, a piece of music that became so closely tied to Hill's brand of humor that it is now commonly referred to as the Benny Hill theme. In 2015, this catchy instrumental was voted #1 TV theme in an ITV special, a testament to its enduring popularity and cultural impact. As the show entered the 1980s, it underwent a noticeable evolution. One of the most noticeable introductions of the time included that of Hill's Angels, a dance troupe comprising attractive young women who brought in an additional layer of glamour and physicality with them.